Hi, this is Maria Quattrone with Be the Solution podcast. This morning, I welcome my guest, Kerry Faix from Stone Bay Holdings. Welcome, Kerry.
Good morning. Hello.
I wanted to be in a business that I did not have a ceiling. Take a pen and a piece of paper, draw a line, draw another line next to it. At 365 days, if you drew 365 lines, you started here with one line, but look how far you've come. Welcome, Kerry.
I like that music. It's got me jazzing. Look at that line. Look how far you've come. Woo,
That's right.
I like that.
You know what that is? That's the effect of the compound effect. So,
one of my favorite books.
I talk about that all the time. You know, we all started from zero, right? We all started at some point we started as all babies, right? But in our business careers, we all started at zeros in real estate, or it's starting your business. And then every day, if you just do a little bit more, just a tiny line more, and gosh, Kerry, you're an entrepreneur, you're an investor, you're the COO of Stone Bay Holdings and co-founder. You just didn't start there, right? You weren't the COO. You just didn't go poof. Here I am. So today, I'd love for you to tell our guests about your journey and about how you got started and then where we are today.
Wow. Yes, you're absolutely right. We all started at ground zero, which is beautiful because it gets a level playing ground for everybody. And it's you and I were talking about a little bit. I love this podcast, Be the Solution. That really kind of has been who I've been my entire life. And through the journey of doing these different things, I really came to learn and realize that I enjoy problems. I call myself a firefighter, and it didn't even know it until
firefighter.
Yes, a firefighter. It was a great eye-opener for me to understand that about myself. I was going from pretty much a lot of my life. Think about a firefighter, like they're sent into the front lines, right? That raging fire, they're trying to put it out, and next thing you know, while they're focusing there, another one is starting to, the embers are starting to flare up and go off in another direction. So too often what I found is that as a firefighter, I was really good at putting those blinders on and just staying laser focused on the raging fire in front of me. There might be embers over here, there might be, something else over there, but I needed to stay focused on the raging fire in front of me. The endorphins that come out of that for me, think about it. I'm not a firefighter in real life. That would scare me to walk into, to go into the front end and put a hose onto a fire and my life be on the line. So there's a certain person. We all have different gifts and abilities. We're not all built the same way. Thankfully, God has created us all individual creatures with different strengths, different abilities. So just so happens the firefighting on the business side, on the life side of things, happens to be me. So for me, when a fire is raging, I get like these crazy endorphins that are flowing through me. And the bigger the challenge, almost the crazier the more excited and the more power and energy towards it. So
isn't that funny how that happens?
It really is. I mean, it's been cool. Like in writing the book, you asked me about that a little bit. I thought about my life and in the past. So I can look back even when I was a teenager in high school and my very first job at TJ Maxx. So there I was working in the men's department, folding sweaters and and then also having to do the cash register. Well, I got to tell you, Maria, I absolutely loved when it was a big sale going on or it was Christmas and I was up on the cash register. The line would be super long. The longer the line, the more I got excited and revved up because for me, it was just an internal excitement to go, how quickly can I get through this crazy line? Where other people would be like, oh, stressing out over it's such a big line, and there's so many people and everybody's getting cranky. No, I'd be like, let me get you through. Let me get you through. So do you see, it's things we don't know about ourselves at the time. I didn't know I was a firefighter. I didn't know that I thrived on adversity or challenges. It was things that I started to learn about over time with myself.
That's funny you say
It's
that, because I think back just now. I worked in a high school I was in. I counted checks at First Trust Bank. Before they put them to the machine,
mhm,
they used to have come in big vats and like a mailer box, like the post office things, all
mhm.
the checks. And I would count them. Like, I was like, I can't believe that's what I did. I was 14 counting checks. But
Uh-huh.
I was always the first one to be done all the checks, because I looked at all these. I mean, there could be hundreds of massive boxes of checks to count. And I would get done mine. And because I was very, let's conquer these counting checks.
Exactly. And that's what I try to encourage young people, older people, all of us, that really there's all these little steps, all these little pieces of the puzzle, right? So me working at TJ Maxx, being behind the cash register, me being a teller at a bank, same thing. We would be responsible. The doors would open up. There would be customers coming in. There'd be the drop bags from the night before, from the retail places, that sometimes those bags were huge and you'd have to navigate trying to get them processed and deposited along with other ones. I loved it. The bigger the challenge, the more bags there were in there. I absolutely loved it. So it's those little pieces you don't realize. I encourage people. My son was he did the sandwiches at Wawa, right? So he was in the behind there. He also did the register. And I tell you, there are things you learn in every job, every adversity, every fun thing in your life. There's seeds of learning and growth through all those situations. So people sometimes think, oh, you're just, working at TJ Maxx. What on earth is that doing to help you grow and develop to be the person you are? There was a lot that I learned and grew and developed through that. So all these little steps. And so people that might find themselves that are listening today that maybe have taken a step back in their life because of things that are going on. I just read last night on Facebook, a good friend of mine was talking to, somehow she got connected with a homeless person. And this gentleman's story, from just what I read, I didn't talk to him, but he was making good money in a job, lost it for some reason, has been out of work for a long time, trying to find work, but hasn't given up doing what he needs to do to provide for his family. And sometimes that doesn't look like what we're used to, right? It's not the same job. So I just really admired how you look at the challenges and the adversity that you're faced with. That's a big piece of the puzzle that leads to where you're going to be when you come out of that challenge. Too often we get faced with a challenge. I like to say, like, you're driving down the road, right? And the rocks start falling and you've got this big boulder in front of you. And so you're stuck there in your car, right? You're going, what am I going to do? So are you the person that sits there and they're just like stunned? You're like a deer in the headlights going, there's this boulder here. What am I going to do? Oh, well, me, I've got a meeting that I've got to get to. I've got to get my child to the doctor. I've got to, gotta. And you sit there and you worry and you fret and you go, how can this be happening to me? Or can you move past that? Because it's a natural reaction at first and go, all right, what am I going to do? I can't just sit here. What are the options? And so you start to figure out, am I going to walk around it? I mean, look, it's a boulder, so there's not too many things, but are you going to be the solution to the problem? Or are you going to sit there and stare at the problem and go, it's too big for me to overcome? And I never go that way. I'm always like, there's always a solution. It's painful sometimes. The solution, hey, man, I'm not a strong woman. So for me to get out there and push that boulder would be a bit of a challenge. But,
Yeah, I think
Maybe
so.
what I would probably do is rally up the people behind me and go, let's go, let's try to figure this out. Maybe the rock's not that big and all of us collectively together can work it through. You call, if knowing me, that's what I would be doing. I would be like delegating around. Hey, you call 911. Hey, you do this, you do that, blah, 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 blah. So we each have our gifts and our talents, and brute strength is not necessarily mine, but I'd be using my mind in another way.
I think sometimes we get as humans, sometimes we do get stuck. Sometimes we freeze and we don't know what to do. And I think that that's okay in the sense of as long as you don't give up. So you might have this problem that you haven't been able to solve. And I think the only thing that makes a difference is the fact that you either, if you quit, then you quit. But if you have that problem, and as long as you don't give up and you still continue to try to solve it, even if you don't get it solved right away, is what's important, because that's the persistence, being consistent, having the mental fortitude to move forward, even though you know that you don't know what the heck you're doing.
Well, have you ever, I'm sure you've heard of the phrase, how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
Exactly. So that boulder is so big, right? It seems like there's no way to get around that boulder, but there is. One bite of the elephant every day. We talked about our favorite book, both yours and mine, The Compound Effect.
Yes.
Small, little, inconsequential things that you do every single day compound over time to make a big change in your life and big events. So yes, the pandemic hit. That's a great one, right? That hit all of us. It kind of grounded all of us, right? We had to look at it and go, how are we going to react and interact with what is happening in our world right now? So I agree with you. There's a time, Tony Robbins tells us, life is happening for us, not to us. Life is happening for you, not to you. And it's so great to realize that there's opportunity in adversity. Say that again, there's opportunity in adversity. And when you recognize that and realize that and reframe your mind from going, oh, woe me, this is horrible, this is happening to me, I didn't ask for this, I didn't want this, I didn't want to lose my job, I didn't want to lose that big client, whatever it is going on, right? You're in real estate, I'm in real estate. So real estate is thriving right now, but there were times that it wasn't. So it affected people, things happen.
I say, even when it is thriving, there's a lot of challenges today, because if you mainly, for example, if you're a real estate agent, or if you're maybe an investor and you want to buy real estate, or you're trying to help a client buy real estate, and there's a lot of offers and certain types of properties, it makes it very challenging, because that agent might have to write 7 offers for one client, which is a lot of damn work. And I'm seeing people fizzle out right now.
Are you?
Yes. I mean, they are saying, I think I might want to end this business because it's that hard. Whereas you see the market's great, right? It's not there. With that and the lack of inventory presents a lot of adversity. And a lot of people, they always say to me, oh, you must be so busy. You're so busy. I'm like, I'm always busy because I have a very active practice, and we sell real estate professionally, meaning we have a professional office and it's not a hobby. So yes, we're always busy, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're not working twice as hard to get things done today. So it's all where your position is. If you change your position, it looks different. When people say the grass is always greener, it's true, because if you're looking at your neighbor's yard from this side, it does look greener for the way that the grass is positioned. But if you're looking at it from your angle, it looks different because the way the grass is positioned. That's why the grass is always greener. It's not. It's just how you look at it. It's all the same.
It's very, very true. And there are challenges in this time. I mean, being a buyer's agent, you could walk somebody through you think you know exactly what your buyer wants and you take them through. You're right. Writing off a bunch of offers. That's what sales really is at the end of the day. There's a lot of no's. You have to develop the mental toughness to be able to keep pushing through the challenges of the no's and the disappointments. And any entrepreneur, not just real estate entrepreneurs, but every entrepreneur, bless you.
Thank you. Oh, gosh. I hope I don't go into a sneezing frenzy now.
I always sneeze at 3. So if one comes out, there's always 2 more coming from me.
So you're right. And in any business, there's adversity. And I think that people give up too quickly because this too shall pass, right? We won't be in this market forever. This too shall pass. There will be the next thing and then the next thing. Now, this hasn't been seen anything like this, or maybe about 20 years ago, there was something like this going on, but not quite like this. So it's the next, you have to know that there's something that comes after this. It's not going to be like this forever. Nothing is forever.
Well, there won't. There will be a nice, things are up and down. The market is always up and down. So
we know that, right? From all the years you've been in business. How long ago did you get into real estate?
Let's see. I've always done it on like a back burnery type of thing, but really in 06 is when my husband and I started flipping properties ourselves and really started. Before that, our uncle had a property. So it was, I want to say, was it 2 or 3 units? I can't even remember now. It was so long ago. And my husband was the property manager for it. He took care of renting it up. So we always had a passion and a desire to get involved in real estate. We have 4 children. They're all adult children now, but we were raising a family. There was lots of challenges in raising them. We had a construction business. Real estate was something we always wanted to do and get involved in. Didn't quite have the means. We kind of thought we had the know-how to do it, but didn't have the means to execute. Didn't know at that time in my life about using raising capital or getting investors to be involved on a project. Thought I had to do everything on my own. That was part of my journey too, is learning that Kerry Faix doesn't have to be the solution all the time. Kerry Faix doesn't have to be the one to figure it out every time and do it. So a fear of failure, those were things, all those things were a combination that kept me kind of down from probably where I could have been if I had let loose of those things. Realizing that falling, things that I would label as failure, mistakes, things I did wrong, are part of growing. They're part of growth. And instead of seeing it as, oh my gosh, everybody's going to judge me. Well, you know why people would judge? Because I was judging people for their failures, right? It was that small-minded thinking, right? Not understanding, and to really grow and develop and understand that a child, when they're learning to walk, doesn't just get up from crawling and instantly walk and never fall down again. There's a series of stumbles and falls, and sometimes they've got the bruises on their forehead, the cuts on their knees to show how hard it was for them to learn how to walk. So there's things like that I love that this show be the solution to be able to impress that upon people. I wish I had heard that when I was younger. I wish I didn't think I had to be perfect all the time and present that way all the time.
Yeah, me too.
So, and same thing for your realtors, anybody, these disappointments, same thing. Oh man, disappointments used to rock my world. To be truthful, they still shake me a bit. Disappointment was probably one of my big things, but understanding that those disappointments, there's a learning curve, there's something to be learned in all of these things. So every client that you end up not finding, right? We've had that where you're showing somebody and then the next thing you know, they go to another client, or you're selling a house, right? And your client will not listen to you that what the money they want for their property is too high. You're telling them
I've never heard that before.
Right? Think about this. Think about that. And you're going, no, Mr. Client, blah, blah, blah. Nope. The listing expires, right?
Mm-hmm.
You lose it. A couple months later, somebody else walks along, gets it. And what do you think they list that house for?
The price I told them.
Exactly. So it's frustrating.
It's very
So,
frustrating, but that's
yeah,
part of the business.
it is part of the business. And some things you can't control. You can try to sway that person. You can try to have them realize that your experience tells you what it is, right?
Yeah.
But so sometimes you're on the receiving end. You're the second client, you're the second
That's
agent in,
right.
and you get
Yeah.
them. Sometimes you're the first one. You've got to break that client in. So, but what can you learn through the process? You learn, instead of seeing it as, Val, that was just a complete waste of my time. See, that's the person that doesn't grow and develop through it.
Yeah.
Instead, if you go, all right, what could I have done? And sometimes, Maria, there's nothing you can do differently.
You can't do anything because you can't rationalize what's delusional.
True.
So I used it as it's just part of the business, and I don't take it personally. I mean, if I took it personally, I probably would never leave the house.
Yeah.
So I just say, you know what? It's part of the business. We know that there's going to be a certain percentage of opportunities and deals that don't go through. It is what it is. So I just look for the people that are the most motivated and just learn to ask better questions up front, and then be able to choose, is this something that you as a business person want to take on? Because you can't take on everybody. You have to pick and choose. And the more, it's funny because the more opportunities you have, the more that you can pick and choose. So in our industry, it's really important that you see, just like you're buying buildings, the more buildings you look at, the more choices you have, the more opportunities you have to get the best opportunity for you and your investors, right?
True. And look, when you're getting started, you need those learning opportunities. You're taking every listing pretty much that comes your way, every buyer, every seller, all of it, right? Because you need those ups and downs. You need to develop the mental toughness, but you also need to figure out where your niche is and who your ideal client is. Where you've come to learn, but you don't know it right off the bat, is you start to, through those people, you start to recognize an ideal client, and you go, you know what? Just like you said, maybe you're not my ideal client. If you don't value my opinion, what I'm suggesting with the market, right? What I feel from my experience, what I think we should do, then they're not your ideal client. And so most entrepreneurs, we've all faced that, right? Maybe I recognize that you're not my ideal client, but I've got no other clients. So those are the decisions you've got to make. But what I've come to learn also is that in letting that non-ideal client go, now you're more laser focused in finding one that is. So instead of spending your energy and time on one that isn't, and a deal that may not go anywhere, you go, nope, I recognize the signals are here. You're not ideal. Let me move on. And I'm laser focused, and I'm going to find one that is. So, and that's also a growth thing that you learn over time. You've got to go through the non-ideals. You've got to go through the ups and downs of disappointments and mistakes and challenges to kind of fine tune those things.
And no matter where you are in your business, whether you're beginning or you're very much seasoned, so to speak, you still will have all of that. It doesn't go away. That's the thing.
Not at all.
It never stops. And you just have to be able, so it's not like that you're going to get knocked down. You will. How fast can you get back up?
I love that song. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Never going to keep me down. I get knocked down.
That's a good song.
It is a good song. And think about that, like those little weeble wobbles, you get knocked down, how quickly you get back up again. When you decide, when you have the mental toughness to say, I want to get back up. I want to get back up fast. How quickly can I rebound from, I just got knocked down. So life is a challenge. It never, we see people that are in our minds, right? They're just having the best life, the best times, right? Everything seems like it's wonderful. What we don't know, social media only shows you one aspect, the aspect that they want to show the world.
That's it.
So we all have challenges and things that we need to work through, but that's part of growth. Maria, if you're not facing adversities and challenges, then you're not growing.
It is.
You know,
part
you're
of it.
stagnant. You're kind of stuck. And maybe some
There's
people are
only
happy
one.
there.
There's only two things. You're either growing or dying, right?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as staying the same because we don't live in a vacuum. Things are constantly changing around us. Look how fast the world's moving today.
I know. I read a quote where, let me see. I read a quote by Jack Welch, and I loved it. It was just so me. If you're not coming to work every day trying to innovate and find a better way, your business is dying on the vine. Dying on the vine. That's what we were just talking about. If you're not growing, trying to find new ways of doing stuff, how many people in business, they've got the best product, right? Or they get to market and they think, and they make a lot of money, right? But they don't keep innovating. They don't keep, going, what does the market's shifting now? They want something different. But you go, oh, I made a killing doing this. If you're not willing to innovate and continually look and see where is the market going, what's it doing, you're dying on the vine. And that's right now, I am in growth state right now. It's kind of interesting. I am definitely on fire for the future. I see different things and I'm excited for it. Is it challenging? Is it a bit stressful right now? But there's endorphins that get flowed through that. So I'm finding myself at a time in my life where I've got to balance those bad stressors with the good stressors, and making sure I find a little bit of infusion that way, and not just sometimes as a firefighter, right? I'm all in on the fire, and I'm all in. I'm focused on this scaling to the next level for our company, and not everybody around me has that same intensity. So I have to find it's really cool. I'm finding that I have to do a better job of describing and being more visionary with it, showing people what the vision looks like going to the next level. Because right now, there's a lot of people that are like, no, we're pretty happy where we are. We like this state right now, right? And so it's going, okay, they don't see what I see. So I've had to move and start to go, all right, Kerry, you've got to articulate, you've got to express, you've got to show people what you see, because they don't see it. They see what they see right now, and it's great. Why do you want to go? Why do you want to rock the boat right now? You're rocking the boat.
So how do you do it? How do you do it?
How do I do it?
Yeah.
Look, it's a lot of self-develop, like a self-reflection. So thankfully, that's another thing that a lot of entrepreneurs don't do. We're so do all the time. I am so super guilty of that. We don't take that time for ourselves to look within and go, what's good, what's bad, kind of, for me, it's spending quality time with God in the morning, kind of reading my Bible and looking and going, are there things that are happening that I'm doing wrong, that I'm doing right? Do I need to keep pressing forward? So that's what I learned, is that from being the COO, the one making it happen, right? The boots on the ground all the time.
You're the integrator.
So I am, but I've seen what I'm learning through this next phase is that I need to move out of being the integrator and move more into visionary, like showing what it looks like and why we're doing what we're doing. So it's been great because I'm learning that I can and that I do, but it's not a natural for me, right? I'm used to the integration and I love it.
Which is, I mean, this is like front and back, visionary integrator. You need both, right?
You do.
But you don't need to be both. But in this case, you've been doing this and you're like, I need to now get my team on board for this next level that we're going to.
And it is. And so I find that's where the reflection was really good, because I'm like, why is this so hard and challenging? Like, this is awesome what I have in my mind, right? Where we're going, what it's going to look like. But everybody around was like, what are you talking about? You're making things challenging. This is hard. And so where
are you going?
Where are we going? So,
yes, I'm excited for you. You have to be
That's
energized this morning, Kerry.
I am. I am. Look, Stone Bay Holdings is an incredible business. We raise capital. We deploy it in various distressed real estate assets throughout the country. We've got incredible strategic partners. Life is really, really good. We are so thankful for where we are. We've got great staff. We've got a great process. We've got great systems. Everything is really, really good, right? And so it was really kind of, I had been feeling it for a while, but when I read that quote from Jack Welch, I'm like, damn, that's kind of us. Like, we're fantastic, we're good, but we're not innovating. And so that's where the energy and the excitement came, because I'm like, all right, how can we innovate? How can we create? So what do we need to do? What do we need to do to bring on more strategic partners right now? What does that look like? Could I
What are
onboard
strategic partners for you?
So, what we do best is relationships. So my business partner, Steve Lloyd, he is, I saw that smile. He's got a huge heart, a big personality. And he is just, man, there's probably not too many, there's no one that I know better at building relationships than he is. So he gets out there, he is like a magnet for people, right? You're either attracted to him when you look at him and you go, oh, man, that guy's got excitement, enthusiasm. I want to get to know him. Or you're going, man, you're just too much for me to handle. I'm moving on.
Okay. It's okay. Then it's not the right fit, but he's very charismatic. So people are drawn to him.
He is. So strategic partners. So what we do is we raise capital. We don't get to know how to find every flip deal, right? How to find apartment complexes and be the operators of the apartment complexes. What we do is we find strategic partners to do those joint ventures with, to partner with. We bring different portions of money. We fund the deal. We partner with them on that level. But for people that are doing flip projects or wholesaling and different things of that nature, we also just bring our experience, our knowledge, our know-how, and our funding along the line. So it's not just money, there's experience, there's a team, there's background of what we've done, what we've learned through the years. We kind of share that with our strategic partners too, and we grow along the way. What we've been able to do is our strategic partners and us, it's been a win-win for both sides, because we've each pushed and pulled each other to a new level. And that's what's exciting. So for Stone Bay to grow to and hit the next level, the next season of where our company is develop more strategic partners. They don't just happen overnight. That's not the way we do things. We don't just go, hey, we want more strategic partners. No, we develop a relationship over time. And that's kind of the secret sauce to who we are. We don't just meet you and do a deal right now. We've got to get to know each other, make sure that we both have the same goals and objectives. Do we look at the business, the things the same way? Are our values in sync with each other? And they're not always that way, and you need time to vet those things out. So for me, I'm looking at, like I told you, right now we're fantastic. We've got great systems, we've got great people, things are really good. But when I look further on and I go, how could I, take on 5 more? If I wanted to take 5 more on between now and the end of the year, could I do it? Yes, I could do it the way I currently sit. What if I wanted to take 10 on? No, wouldn't want to take 10 on. So what do I need to do?
Are you talking about partners or buildings, or?
If I took 10 more strategigic partners, because strategic partners have various things going on, right?
So what are some of the things? So they're doing flips, or so you're talking about like hard money, lending hard money, or?
So again, a strategic partner. So we're bringing a lot. So let's use this. So we have a strategic partner who he buys. So he's doing wholesaling. He does flips and sells. He does buys and holds. He's just starting to get into apartments. He's doing all sorts of things, right? So tax sales, variety of different things. We've got another one that started to get into the storage space. We've got other strategic partners that, buy apartment complexes. So we've got other strategic partners that do mortgage notes in the second space. So there's a variety of different things. So it's a matter of they're good at what they do, right? So if you think about it, one of the great things I heard a few years back was, if you think back to even just 20 years ago, when you put on the TV and a lot of the infomercials, they were about how to like take care of something you weren't good at doing, right? Learn this. This is your weakness. Figure this out. Figure this out. And one of like those aha moments for me was, I was at a seminar and Gary Vaynerchuk was there, and he's a
Gary V.
Yeah,
Love him.
he's fantastic once you get past the cursing.
I
You
know.
filter
I
out
know.
the
It's a bit much, but he does have some good content, though.
Oh, he's got fantastic content
outside of the F-bombs.
Yes. And what
I don't mind the F-bomb, but just there's too many for me, even then.
I agree. And he loses people. But for a period of time, I was able to filter through the F-bombs and hear the gold. And the gold was, F your weaknesses, focus on your strengths. And you know what? That is solid gold right there. Too often, again, I can't have weaknesses. I got to be perfect. Let me polish up this. Oh, I'm not good at that. Let me figure out how to do that. And when you go, no, what are you really good at? And that's what Stone Bay does. What are we really good at doing is building relationships. Let's stay in that lane, stay focused on that, and build relationships with our investors, build relationships with our strategic partners, and bring value to both. So instead of Stone Bay trying to learn how to go and flip houses themselves, right? Find our properties, find the contractors, do all that stuff. We go, no, let me find somebody that's really good at doing that already, and let me see what they need. And often they need the financial backing to do it, right? They can find the deals, but they don't have the money. Remember, I told you that in the early days, my husband and I wanted to do real estate, but we didn't have the financial wherewithal to do it. So that's what we like to do. That's what we call strategic partners to us. People that are good at what they do. And it takes, like I said, a little bit of time to make sure that we're both on the same page. We both have the same core values, and make sure their systems and their processes are good. So for me, on my end, taking on a strategic partner, I need to be able to vet them out and make sure that if I gave them a fire hose of funds, right, and said, go ahead, go buy 3 more, if they're used to doing a certain pace of deals, right, and they go, I could take on more, I just don't have the financial means to do it. And we go, great, go do it. So sometimes that doesn't work because I fire hosed you with money, but you didn't have the systems and the people in place yourself to handle the deal flow that comes with it. Those are things that we've learned over time. So that's when I say, like, obviously I could take on 5, take on 10 more. No, those are the pieces. I want to make sure that they don't get hurt along the way, and we don't get hurt along the way too. It's vetting them out, making sure that they grow. And that's another piece of the puzzle that's probably been really helpful over the last 2 years, is doing that with our strategic partners too, kind of showing them, hey, we know you can go find more. Right now, make sure you can handle more, because more isn't always better sometimes. And us having that maturity to go, we need to pause right now. We're not telling you you're not great at what you're doing, but pause and make sure you're ready. And that's the same thing for me. Like, I want to make sure our systems, our team is ready for a fire hose of new ventures. So that's the groundwork that I'm working towards right now. And showing people that there's so much more to come. There is so much more to come. It's exciting. Steve and I want to do masterminds. We want to share with people the things that we've learned over time. We've got software that we're doing, the very tools that we use to make our company great. I want to share with other people. So I need to button up some other things in line so that we can do that and share our resources with others. So I have to set those things in place right now, because I just can't go, yeah, let's do that. There's steps that have to be taken, cross training that needs to go on, there's various things.
Wow, you have your plate full.
But look at me, it's full, but it's exciting, because the why is important. And that's the other thing that entrepreneurs need to keep in mind is, if your why is great enough, you're going to push through the pain, right? So too many times we're used to the pain. We've wrapped a blanket around ourselves with the woe pain, right? I'll never be this, I'll never be that, or, life happens to me, not for me, right? And they don't see opportunity in their adversity. So right now I see the pain. It's painful right now. Trust me. Like, I'm feeling it. I know it. And so what I've come to learn, and luckily is, and people around you, right, going, Kerry, you're kind of stressed out, and going, yeah, you're right. And like, is that good? Is that a healthy stress? How do I manage that better? Right. And what I'm also seeing is that I'm projecting that on other people. Right. So even though I'm excited about where we're going, not everybody's at that pace and place. And so monitoring that and making sure I keep grounding myself, find that inner strength and peace. Right. And so
how do you do that?
It's that quiet time in the day. That's really
in the morning when you're.
It really is. And without that, I would be a raging, crazy lunatic. And so I'm even finding that as things are really like, look, sometimes you get a lot of things that you're just not ready for, right? Things happen. An employee gets sick, or, right, something happens. Something happens with a strategic partner, or what is it called? Eviction moratorium happens. Like, there's all sorts of things, right? And you've got legal to be dealing with, right? There's all sorts of challenges that can come up during the day that you're not even. I can set my day and have this list of to-dos and think, oh, I'm going to do da 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 da, right? And I love my list. I love getting things done. And so, man, 5 more things might come at you, right? That aren't on that list.
That's every day. You have to be prepared for that.
It is. So as an entrepreneur, protecting yourself from that time, and that was also like something that I've learned to grow through too, is setting aside time to ground yourself. And that's what I just this morning realized I need to start doing midway during the day. Yesterday I did it, and it made a change for me. I've got to walk away from the desk. You got to walk away from it, because see, like I said, I'm firefighting, man. I'm laser focused. I'm all in. And so what I realized was I had to walk out, go sit on my deck. I've got beautiful flowers, listen to the sounds of the environment, right? And just take a few minutes and breathe and go, what's your purpose? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? Are you projecting crazy, Kerry? Like, did you get so far into firefight mode that, you're not at that peace and that calm? And so it was like, when you walk away from it and you go, look at the beauty around you. It's like, look at my deck, look at, my dogs, pet them, and then came back in. And that's a piece that, Maria, I didn't used to do. My husband, my family will tell you, man, when I'm in firefight mode, I am all in. I would go to the office and I'd be 7:30 till 7:30 at night. I could do 12-hour days, absolutely no problem. I never want to walk from it.
I'm used to it still.
Yes.
I said, you said talk to new people in any industry, right? If you're not prepared to put 12+ hour days in to be an entrepreneur, yikes. I don't know how else you can do it.
Well, people think.
I mean, I'm still 17 years in, 12-hour days, pretty much every day.
Are you exhausted at the end of that 12-hour day?
Well, it depends on what I was doing, but if I had a lot of appointments, I'm tired. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I'm used to it. So it's just normal. You
are. And look, you have to have a goal of where you're going to. You clearly have a why you do what you do. So it makes those 12-hour days not feel like 12-hour days. There were many times, yes, I might be tired when I got done a 12-hour day. But man, when I wake up in the morning, I'm like right in. I'm like, I can't wait to get back in, get on that fire. Sometimes even through the night, I would notice I would be solving the problem through the night. Like, you wake up and you're like ready to just go at it again. So look, having people, there are times that the adversity and the challenge can really drain you. We've all been there too.
It does. And You know, those are the days that I want to go home and put the covers over my head, right? But it's a part of it.
It is a part of it.
And managing your emotions is like the biggest part of it. I learned. I'm an emotional person by nature. So I had to really learn to get them in check. And I mean, I would be like, but these days I'm more grounded and just shit's gonna happen. It's just how you respond to it.
And see, that's the thing, Maria, that all entrepreneurs need to learn is how we respond to challenges and adversity is what makes the difference. And so you've got to know, I heard a really great talk maybe I don't even know how long ago, 5-10 years ago. And it was really, really great. Think about this. We're women, we're moms. So, you know, those juice boxes the children, drink out of, and they got the little straw, you poke the straw into the hole, right? Well, we women, I've got 4 straws poked into my box, all 4 of my children. I've got a husband poked into my box, right? I had parents at the time when I heard that. I've got my dad, right? I've got my business, and my business has various levels, right? The business isn't just one straw. The business might be this big, thick straw, right? So when you start, I'm very visual. When you start recognizing that really helped me to go, no wonder you're stinking drained at the end of the day, right? Who's taking energy from you today, right? And you can't just go as a mom, as a wife, as a business owner, you can't just go, talk to the hand, not today. Your problem, child. I can't help you today. No, you've got to find a way to help them. You've got to find a way to solve those problems that are going on in your business. So this is what you've got to recognize. First, recognize all the straws that are poked into your box right now that are sifting. Now, they're not all sifting energy out of you at the same time. Sometimes they are. You might have young little children, and when you have young little children, they are all
it takes a lot out of
at the same
people
time.
for sure.
My children are grown, so no, I don't have 4 little, energies being drained out of me every single day. I'm through that season of my life. But so what we need to recognize as women, as entrepreneurs, men that are listening too, same thing. They've got different straws, right? Women react differently to life and to our families than men do. So if I'm getting drained a lot, I need to find out what fills me up. What's going to fill that juice box back up again? Really think about that. You need to know as a person, bless you.
Thank you.
So that when you get down at the end of the day, and Maria, quite frankly, sometimes for me, it is just to hop into bed, relax, go. I just need to chill. It's almost like a timeout for mommy. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm going up to the room, shut the door, because I can't control, I know I'm like, don't come in and talk to me, because I just need to be by myself and just kind of relax. Find those things that are going to fill that juice box back up again.
Sometimes you get sick, and then it's a timeout for you.
Yeah.
Because maybe you were running too hard.
Yeah. There's a blessing in the sickness, Maria. Like, you were down for a day, right?
4
You were
days.
stuck in bed. 4 days. 4 days.
4 days. Oh my God, please.
Oh, I thought you said 4 days. You were down for 4 days.
4 days.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, it was a lot. I was losing it. I just do a lot of sleeping.
So
that was a forced vacation.
Exactly. So what do we get? Those things are good opportunities for us, because in the relaxation, your brain needs a time to not be the problem solver, right? For those 4 days, Maria couldn't be the one to handle whatever challenges and faces. Maybe some of them you still were able to handle from your sickness state, but
only if it was typing, because I couldn't talk.
But what's so wonderful about those situations? I can remember a time when like I was the primary for a lot of years when I was raising the kids. I was home for 12 years with them. And I'm so thankful for that time. I'm not sure. I know my oldest remembers it. But I think the younger ones don't really remember mom being home as much because they see what I am now. But I visited my parents a lot. I was over there. I was able to do a lot of things and have that great time with them. And I noticed when my business really started thriving in the last 10 years, there were times my dad needed me. My mom had passed away, and it was challenging because he was another, it was another big straw that I had to it was hard to balance that in with everything else going on. And so what happened, which was really great, a blessing, was that my dad started relying on, I have 3 other brothers, started relying on them. And so there were times that my dad would be like, oh, I called your brother. He answered the phone. He took care of me, right? And that was like a dagger into my heart because, right, that was important for me to be able to be there for my dad and to take care of his needs and to be that primary person for him. And to have him go look in a different direction was hard for me. But Maria, oh my goodness, how freeing it was when I realized what 2 things came out of it. It freed me from a big draining straw, right? And it also gave my dad an opportunity to bond in a different direction with another one of my siblings, with my brother. So our businesses are the same thing. We find ourselves wanting to be the only one, the best at this. I want to be known for that, right? And we love it. We love people coming and relying on us and coming to us for whatever reasons, right? We all have our different strengths and skills. But there's such beauty in a business when you're not the only one that people go to. And that's where your business really takes it to another step and to another level when people are starting. So a lot of what I'm doing right now is trying to really help my team understand how I think and solve problems. So instead of when there's one, I can obviously feed somebody an answer. Hey, go do such a da-da-da-da, right? But I go, well, what do you think you should do in this time? I'm finding myself going, I guess these are what therapists do, don't they? When you sit there, they never tell you the answer. They go, how do you feel about that? What do you think? So I'm guessing maybe I'm trying to challenge that and go, all right, what do you think you should do in this situation? And walk them through the avenues, and walking them through. Sometimes their first avenue is, well, I'm going to call so-and-so, ask them how they do it. And I go, well, do you think do you maybe have information that you could draw upon and solve that yourself without calling that person? And it's like, sometimes they're a deer in the headlights going, no, I don't have any idea. And so you give them breadcrumbs of helping them to solve that problem. And so that's what I realized is I've got to teach. And same thing with my adult children. Look, life is everything. My adult children, same thing. There has to be a baton passing. And I think that's what's been really good about where I am in my company and where I am in life. And I really saw the similarity in both. As my youngest was graduating college last year, right? And so I was just like, it was my 4th. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not the problem solver, right? And when they come to me with one, it's not my job to necessarily do it. I'm there for them as a resource, but I need to help them develop the tools and the techniques to think through the ideas and the solutions themselves. So I realized the same thing with my company. I'm like, yeah, Kerry, you've got to move from that one that everybody goes to, that you're the one solving all the problems. You're the one thinking where people don't think. And you've got to teach them, give them the breadcrumbs, and help them build the muscles to develop their skills themselves. That's how we get to the next level.
So smart.
But I want to tell you that everybody, there's such a joy, like you saw me, the joy that sorrow first, that my dad was going somewhere different, right? And he was kind of a bit of a dagger because he knew it. He was like, I had to call him, right? But as I saw that relationship getting stronger and the bond growing deeper, I realized what a blessing it was. Same thing for your children. When you see your children starting to solve their own problems, right, and to venture down in their journey of life, there are going to be challenges and adversity. oh my goodness, I want to protect them from all those things. Just like for me, I'm who I am today because of those challenges and those adversities. As much as I kind of want to make it easy for your listeners, for everybody that I come in contact with, I want to give you the pathway to how to get there quicker. Some people, what I'm seeing is you can give them all that advice, and it's a resource, and they go, I'm stubborn, I'm strong-willed, I got to do it my way. And maturity and is teaching me now that that's part of their journey and that that's okay. Where I used to think, why are you being so stubborn? You know, it has to be this. I see the pathway for it to be easier for you. But there's beauty in everybody's journey. And God has a purpose and a plan for their life that was different from mine. And he's going to use how they choose to deal with that situation to take them to wherever they're going.
Isn't that great? Isn't it great that you can see that and you can give the advice, but at the end of the day, everybody has to live their own journey, They have to.
They really do. And it's fun to be at our age right now, to be at our stage of life and to have gone through what we've gone. And I know when I was a young woman and having young children and being in the throes of all of that and a business, I mean, we had it all going on, and feeling stressed and pressure, and trying to navigate through all those different things that were going on, and having a mentor in your life that had been there, done that. And that's what is really gratifying right now, to be that and go, yeah, I know how you're feeling. I've been there. And sometimes I'm just that source of, yeah, I've been there. Trust me, it doesn't last forever. Try to look at it as a blessing. Try to look at being sick for 4 days as a blessing. What did your staff get done? You kind of look at that and go, everybody should have that gift, Maria. Your business should be able to you should have the gift of knowing that if something goes wrong in your life and you're sick, you're down for days, that your business is still thriving, not just getting by, it's thriving. And your employees feel empowered when it's doing that, right? That you're not the only force of it. And that's the sign of a really, in my mind, success is different to all of us, but a real successful business is one that goes, when we're part of it, but we're not the only part of it, that it's all revolving around what we've got going on.
That's right. You need the team.
You do need a team. You do need a team.
Right? So you'll have to let me know about your masterminds and all these great things that you and Steve have going on. I love to know about it.
We will definitely share with you. It's connecting people, relationships. It's funny because Steve's so great at relationships and I'm great at relationships in a different way. It's, I meet somebody and I'm like, so who's your wife? Who's your children? Or who's your husband? Who's your children? Tell me about them. Like, I want to get to know that person, right? And make sure that they're healthy and things are going good that way wise. Because it's all same thing with my staff. If people have something going on in their life, it affects the business too. And so everything's a blending of both, and finding that balance of being there to support and encourage, do what you can, but also at the same point recognizing I can't solve everything all the time. Sometimes it's just being the ear to listen, say some prayers, be an encouragement, and sometimes you're taking a meal over to somebody who's sick and down for a little bit of time.
And it's all about being the solution, because
it is. What a great.
We get paid to solve problems. I mean, that's part of what we do, but even in our own lives, it's, when you feel not feeling great, let's say mentally, going to help somebody else, there's always somebody that needs your help. There's always somebody that needs your help. And if you think about that and you can help somebody else, you'll feel better.
Isn't it? It's crazy how that works, but you're so true. If you or any of your listeners right now are finding themselves in a spot where they just feel overwhelmed, they feel they don't know their way out of the situation or the problem right now, what you just said is an incredible, incredible solution to that right now. Go somewhere different, because it gives you perspective. That's what helping somebody else does. Gives you perspective. Go to a homeless shelter. Go feed some.
I
Go
would
feed
tell
some
people,
people.
and I wasn't joking. I said, if you're having like a really bad time and you're not getting out of it, go drive to K&A and go see all the people there that have. It's that should help you put perspective into things, right?
It really does. And look, it doesn't change. That's what's so great. What changed? Okay, so you drive through Camden and you look at all the people, right? And you look at the poverty and you look at what's going on in their world, right? And you go, man, nothing. When you get back home, Maria, that same challenge you had is still sitting there. It didn't go. But what changed?
The perspective in your
mindset.
mind.
Yeah, your perspective and your mindset.
And
those are the things you need to do for yourself.
Yeah, it's critical.
It's very critical. And so driving to Camden's one way, but reading, quiet time. If you're a spiritual person, finding your strength through spirituality, finding your strength through 75 hard is a great challenge. I've had a few friends that have done that.
I'm not signing up for that. I say take a walk on the beach.
I like that with you. I have not done the 75 hard challenge, but what I admire through the 75 hard challenge is the reading motivational book, 10 pages a day. Like, find what fills your tank. And sometimes I've got a really good girlfriend, and sometimes, man, we just talk on the phone and share our hurts, our joys, our successes. Get together, have a drink, sit on the back patio, go for a walk, go for a jog, go for different things. You got to find those things that fill your tank back up, and make sure you're doing them. Make sure you're doing them, and especially when you're going into a season where you know it's going to be challenging, make sure you have people in your circle, your accountability, your loved ones, that remind you of that. Kerry, you look a little down right now. And they need to know what those things are that fill your tank. Go meet with your friend. Go down a siesta. Go walk on the beach. Go do those things.
Take a boat ride.
Yes. Go do those things that fill your tank back up. And your business needs it. That's the other piece that we don't realize. Your business needs 100%. A healthy Maria. They need you 100%. Mind, body, spiritual.
You can see I'm struggling a little bit this morning with the coughing, the sneezing.
Yeah.
The eyes are tearing, streaming down my face. But I was committed to doing this. And so, you make a commitment, and you gotta do your best to keep your commitments too.
Well, I don't know, but all I'm seeing is a radiant, beautiful woman. I'm not seeing, and see, that's the other thing. You're seeing a side of you, right? Because you're feeling the pain internally and stuff. But outside, yeah, I see you sneezing. I see the nose like wanting to blow. But I see a radiant, beautiful woman that has a lot to give. And that's your why, right? You want to help others, be the solution. Look past their challenges and see their adversity and challenges in a different way, so they can move forward and achieve what they want in life. That's your why. We're so blessed and thankful.
So blessed
that you're committed to it.
Every day I spend just a few minutes in the morning just in gratitude. And I think it's important to take that time. You take that time. So it's great. This has been great today. I love it because it was very, very inspirational, and I hope others will love it too. So, Kerry, thank you so much for your time. You've been amazing. I love your spirit. I love your energy, and you're so genuine and giving.
Well,
so
let me give I'm going to read it because I'm better at reading it, but I have a free gift for your audience. You can download my book, Bringing Value, solving problems,
I
leaving a
saw
legacy.
that.
Here, where do I go? Leaving a legacy. Here you go.
I love it.
Let's see. You go to my website, kerryfaix.com/free, or there's an option to purchase the paperback. Some of my co-authors are Mitzi Perdue of Purdue Chicken, Bob Berg, author of The Go-Giver, and Kyle Wilson, founder of Gin Roan International. It's really an inspiring read from a variety of different entrepreneurs, investors, entertainers, and about transformation and growth. You'll read my story in there. You'll read the story of so many others. It is inspirational. I've had so many people tell me that what you do when you read it is you realize what you said early in this episode is that we all started at ground zero. And that's what this book shows. We've all had, how did we make our way from ground zero to where we are? And you might not think you're the successful person that anybody wants to read your story. We all do have a story. There's something, we all have a purpose and a beautiful story inside each of us. And when you can relate to somebody else and see how, wow, they were this, so was I. Look, they've turned their life around. They did this with it. So hopefully anybody will be happy to.
That's
be
awesome.
inspired
Thank
to
you.
that also.
I'll get the link and drop it in the comments.
Great.
Kerry, I can't wait to see you in person soon.
I know. When are you coming down to Siesta?
I don't know, but I would love to. We're actually we're going to Italy, so maybe we'll come in the fall.
When are you going to Italy? Soon?
A few weeks.
Great. Oh, well, you definitely got to make a plan to get down to Siesta. It's gorgeous, and you will have a fantastic time. That I can assure you.
I would love it. We'll make a plan.
Sounds good.
All right, Kerry. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
I hope you feel better.
A solution.
Continue to get healthy.